Welcome back home.
We are back home indeed.
Dude, the post-cruise blues is real, man. It's real. What? I have a regular life?
Dude.
What? I don't have someone making my bed? You can't go to the Windjammer? You can't go get unlimited pizza whenever I want.
I can't have Sharon cut my steak for me, bro.
Dude, what's the deal with that?
Can't just go to the hot tub whenever I want.
I can't be devoid of responsibilities 24/7,
Yeah.
except meeting my excursions. It's a tough life, man.
Dude. What a time that was.
I mean, that's honestly, I've been telling people, probably top 3 trips I've ever taken.
Oh, dude. I was thinking today, like, it's going to be hard for me to go on another cruise because I don't know if it'll top that.
Dude.
Like, that was the craziest, cruise ever.
I feel like every other cruise is going to be a letdown.
I know. The amount of dubs.
Just the sheer energy going into that experience of the 10 months of waiting and
Yeah.
leading up to it, looking forward to it.
It honestly was even better than I expected it to be. Like, it blew my expectations out of the water.
What were you expecting?
I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know.
I mean, we legitimately got to do everything we were hoping to do.
Yeah.
We got to jet ski. We got to meet really cool people, hang out with them.
Yeah.
We got to do the podcast. That was a big one. Got to go on the excursion. You guys added another excursion. You guys got to go on ATVs.
Yeah.
We probably did almost every single activity.
Almost. Yeah. Yeah. It had that same energy that the Florida trip had.
Yes.
It had that same energy, bro. Where we just executed on like everything. We went to everything. Dinner, all the excursions, and then the ATVs, whatever. That was kind of like, that reminded me of Florida a little bit.
Really?
When we added in the SeaWorld to the
forgot we
Busch
did
Gardens. Yeah. But yeah, it just, I can't put it into words. I can't put that feeling into words.
It's like every desire you hope to have, you get.
Yeah. And more.
And a little bit more. Like what you didn't even dare to hope for, or
Yeah.
you didn't even know you wanted to.
I'm not gonna lie, even in parts that I thought was kind of like, it turned out better. Like the whole off-road Jeep trip at first, I was just like,
exhausting, dude. It was a little.
yeah. Got up there at the crack of dawn,
Yeah.
and I was just like, is this worth it? Like,
For real.
just driving around. And we went to that first stop that was like the lookout tower,
Mm-hmm.
and that little tiny Mayan ruins thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is cool,
Yeah.
but I'm kind of ready to get back on the ship. I'm not gonna lie. The private beach was cool. Then like we can swim, so
Then when he hopped on the crocodile,
yeah.
I was like, dang.
Okay, but that to me when the crocodile like got into the beach, everyone had to get out, right? And he was giving us the option of whether or not to go to another beach or just like not do snorkeling at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two options.
Uh-huh.
For me, I was like, dude, let's just go back on the boat, bro. Like,
Really?
Yeah, that's how I felt.
I was pretty exhausted too.
Yeah, I was tired and I was starving. That was probably part of it because
We didn't have any breakfast or
No
we
breakfast,
had like
yeah.
a pretty late lunch.
yeah. And I was up super late the night before.
That's right.
Well, no, I wasn't. I wasn't up super late that night, but the night before was
Yeah.
Costa Maya. So
Oh yeah.
I was exhausted. Actually, I think was that the night that we talked to, what was his name? Daniel?
hmm
Or was that the night before? It might have been the night before.
I remember we had definitely stayed up till like 2 the night before.
That
was
might have
crazy.
been the night before.
Yeah, it's very possible.
But anyways, yeah, I was just exhausted. But then if that whole thing hadn't have happened, we never would have gone to the exclusive beach.
No,
And I probably wouldn't have been able to ride a jet ski.
no.
So,
I remember thinking
Yeah.
that of like,
Yeah.
holy crap.
yeah.
Zach's about to get to do the jet ski, and I didn't even really get in the water at the second beach. I just like passed out on the freaking lawn
Yeah.
chair. I was pretty exhausted. But that's true. Like I remember even on the Florida trip, there was a few things that we went to that we were like, oh my gosh, I'm so freaking tired. Like, why are we going to this? And then it turned out to be super worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say that private beach, that was super nice.
The first one,
The first one, it was
very nice.
beautiful.
It was definitely private for sure. We were the
Yeah.
only ones
Yeah, that was
there.
like private.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably like the most like scenic
Yeah.
beach I've ever been on.
Same.
The sand was perfect. Like it was small, enclosed.
Water was beautiful.
Water was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the best, for me, the most enjoyable and the best trips always have a few elements in it. It's like, I really, really want people that I enjoy being around there.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going alone or I'm just going with like one other person, it's typically not as enjoyable for me.
Yeah.
And then it's got to be well balanced. Like if there's not enough things to do and I get bored and restless, that's not really fun for me. But
Yeah.
if I'm doing something every single second of every day, then that's also too much.
I agree.
And so, and then lastly, it's like, oh, I really also enjoy when there's like a mission, like there's an overall goal of the trip, right? And so like I loved how for the cruise we had to go with 4 guys. It wasn't too much, it wasn't too little. Everyone are guys that get along together and
Yeah,
have fun.
yeah.
We build on each other's energy, and pretty easy to get along with. And then we had endless opportunities to do stuff. And so when we were like, hey, okay, what's the best bang for our buck? Let's go do those things, and then we'll go crash back at the room.
Yeah.
Or
Go
we'll
chill in the hot tub.
Yeah, go
or
chill in the
go
hot
get
tub,
pizza.
go get pizza, rejuvenate, and then get ready for the next thing.
Yeah.
And we had kind of missions of like, okay, we want to get the podcast in.
Yeah.
We want to meet people. We want to shake things up a little bit and win stuff and show people who we
get Nathan
are.
a picture.
We want to get
with
Nathan a
Yuki.
picture. Like we had all these little side quests that popped up that we just like, oh, let's do it. And for the most part, like the weather was good. We had good circumstantial
Yeah.
events go on where it's like, one day the weather was pretty bad, but we were still able to go to the beach in Costa Maya and pool, and it wasn't like that. It wasn't that bad. And then that's honestly pretty much it. Like everything else, it was pretty good weather. I mean, the only thing was the podcast where we were trying to do it outside, but it was too windy. But besides that, I felt like we had pretty good circumstantial events happen for us. So those, like, to me, that's what made the Florida trip so much fun.
Yeah.
And so we were able to kind of put all those elements into one
Yeah,
thing.
dude.
So, and then like the casino, like stuff that just happened that you're like, there's
Yeah.
no way that just happened. It's just icing on the cake.
Yeah, really. That's truthfully, dude, that's what I've been thinking about these last few days. just that energy that we had on that boat, it did feel very much like the Florida trip. And it felt like when we were on the Haul, dude. Right? Like that's what it feels like. So I was just like, and even more than that, in those times, I don't know if this will sound like weird or whatever, but I felt the most myself.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, oh my, like, even when we went to Spokane or whatever, like there were instances where I just felt like, dang, like I feel like the most alive right now. I just feel absolutely alive. Like, and I was trying to figure out like what that is. Like what?
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah. And how, if you can replicate that, like how can I live like that daily, dude?
Yes.
If it's possible.
Dude, that is what I was saying on the cruise. That's what I was saying is like, well, okay, so that's what I was saying is one, how do we do that, right? But two, I feel like it is happening slowly. We're like little by little, we're putting these trips together. We're doing the podcast. Like a lot of times, sometimes our Friday nights or Saturday nights will kind of feel like that sometimes. Like we'll catch the vibe, we'll catch the energy again for a little bit, like every once in a while.
Yeah.
And like just kind of some conversations we've had or people that we've met with or after podcast episodes when we have like a really good podcast. I feel it right again. And so it's almost like this pursuit of that. And the more like we put I think that the more we put our attention towards it, it's kind of like watering that tree, right? And it's like it's growing and it's becoming more prevalent and more a part of our lives, and therefore it seems like it's more possible.
Yeah. I feel like I'd almost forgotten what it felt like.
Me too. I was like, I guess it was just for that time.
Yeah.
Or I guess like, those are just the college days. Those are just the good old days.
Yeah. But then the cruise, it just lit that spark. I was like,
Spokane to me was like the first one.
Spokane did for me a little bit, but not as much as the cruise. I don't know why.
No, for sure.
But just because like just the way that the cruise happened, like from day one to the end, the like positive momentum that just carried us through the whole week was it's just unreal. Like it's unreal. So yeah, I was just trying to think like what are the key elements that, just like this whole second floor thing, right? Like what's the formula that creates this whole second floor experience or whatever?
Yeah.
And I think that whole cruise trip, like I said, just reminded me of what's possible. Of like what's possible, because like I said, I had forgotten what it felt like to have that energy. And coming from and being on the cruise, I just remember thinking like, holy crap, like we still got this. And this energy is not gone. We're just not tapping into it.
Yes.
We're just not tapping into it. So I was trying to think back, kind of like what you said, like, okay, what about the cruise brought that energy alive? What were the circumstances? And like, what were all the factors that allowed us to tap into that?
Yes. Okay.
Because if we can figure that out and we can replicate that.
Yes. I think we should run with this because I think there's kind of like two phases of it where it's like, okay, on second floor, right? Like in the heyday, there were times where I like definitely felt bored or sluggish or like, like, well, dang, what are we gonna do tonight? Or I got to go to school right now.
Yes.
There were times
I got to write a paper.
Yeah, it's like, dang, okay, I got to really. But it was that contrast that made me so excited to come back to the hall. Like, dang, what are we doing tonight? Like, or last night was crazy. Right? So, I think that with the Florida trip, that was like, you're kind of comparing that to the cruise right now, where it's like, that was our time to get away, and that was like this like picturesque trip we put together.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to say that it's like not realistic to have that all the time, because I think it's because we're not doing that all the time that makes it that much better. But I think that like just in the same way we would come back to second floor and still have those great nights, still have the great community, still go out to eat together.
Yes.
That is still possible, but it wasn't to the level of the Florida trip, 100%.
Yeah.
And that's not what you're saying, but I think that that's like an important distinction to make of like, okay, we all have responsibilities still, but that doesn't mean that we have to live this like boring, lifeless life.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Because we're not. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I could just somehow tap into this like paradise on earth and just live, and every day is just bliss, right? Because that's just life. Like, you're gonna have highs and lows.
Exactly.
And I think even on a cruise, I feel like the cruise, this is a wild comparison right now, but cash flow?
Yeah.
Right? How it kind of takes your life and shrinks it down to like a game.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of see like the cruise trip.
Okay.
And maybe the Florida trip too. Like, just from like a start to finish, and like, if I could live my entire life like I lived that 1 week, then what would be the impact? And so just like so even on the cruise, right? I wouldn't necessarily say that everything was perfect. Just making sure it's going. Right? Like, there were definitely highs.
For sure.
There were a lot of highs, but there were definitely lows. Like, there were times we just didn't feel good, or there were times that
the vibe died.
Yeah, dude.
You felt it.
Yes.
Like dancing or volleyball.
Yes, dude.
Like, this is not it. This is not it.
Just certain things just didn't go our way. Like, I mean, mine and Ryan's ATV trip almost got canceled because of the rain.
True.
So there were and other circumstances that we don't have to talk about on here, but there were things that brought the vibe down.
For sure.
But
we didn't let that stop.
We didn't let it stop us, dude. We didn't. It was like we just didn't accept it. Well, maybe that's the wrong word.
No.
Like, we accepted it, but we didn't allow that to determine like our next move.
Yes. We didn't stay down.
No.
We got back up.
Yeah.
Kept going, dude. Kept going. Even like when we were talking to the ice skaters, and we were like, do you think we're gonna be able to all go dancing? And they're like, no, we're going back to the room. Right after that.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, dang it, dude. Like, you know what? It's fine. We'll find him again.
Yeah.
And we got the freaking picture with Yuki. Like, we did it still. And okay, so you remember when I was kind of like, we were in the car last time, and I was kind of painting that picture of like, okay, well, what would like having a coffee shop look like for us? Like, what would our day-to-day look like? How we do things? And I don't think I did a great job of explaining what I was thinking, but I feel like it's so possible to create almost like a job or like a position or like a responsibility of creating that experience for people.
Yeah.
So
okay.
In my head, I'm like, okay, if we have a coffee shop, it's like a headquarters of some sort, and we have an understanding with business partners or whatever, like that that we're the people that facilitate and help run things, but not like as in we're always behind the counter doing the coffee.
Yeah.
But in a way is like, okay, we're like sitting in the coffee shop and meeting people, creating relationships when they come in. But like we also have stuff we need to do too, right? So like we're in and out, we're doing things.
Yeah.
But we're like planning events. Like, okay, hey, tonight, Wednesday night, we got or Saturday night, we got a UFC night. So we got to get the food prepped. We got to talk to this person. We got to get the event ready. Or like, I mean, why can't we have game nights like that at a coffee shop to build, like, if our job could be literally community builders.
Yeah.
In a way, the same way we would sit in the hot tub for 4 hours and talk to those people, and this amazing conversation came up, right? And it's like, oh, dude, let's hang out more often. This is so cool. It's like that genuine connection that people are experiencing. And like, yeah, you're gonna have days where things are like, oh my gosh, we didn't have enough this or that. We gotta put out a fire, or something else in my life happened, and I need you to cover for me. Of course,
yeah,
we understand that stuff's gonna happen, absolutely. And we also understand, guess what? There's gonna be times where we're gonna say, hey, we're dipping out for a week. We're gonna go on a trip, and we're gonna do we're gonna do a podcast with this person in Florida or California or New York or freaking Europe somewhere. But like, we build our lives in a way that we're able to do those types of things, like you mentioned, on a longer time frame.
Yeah.
But we're not stuck behind the counter of the coffee shop pulling shots and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
That's like in my head what I was trying to envision of like, why can't we just create a business or a part of this because building that community is ultimately the lifeblood of the business. It would be the lifeblood of the coffee shop. The more repetitive customers you get, the more people you bring to your event, the more cash flow your business is going to have.
Yes.
The bigger you get. Great, right. Same for podcasts. It's like the more relationships you build, that opens doors to people with bigger and bigger audiences, which helps your podcast grow. And so it's not like this thing where you're just making it up. It's genuinely a need for someone to be willing to have those 2-hour conversations with someone who just needs to talk.
Yeah.
And then you kind of create that magic that we're talking about. And it just starts to open these doors and like, oh, hey, let's go try this. And hey, oh, we need help here. Let's go do this today. And you create little reels or social media things for it. And now all of a sudden you're helping people, and people see that you're helping people, and it just helps grow everything.
Yeah.
So again, I don't know exactly what that looks like, but in my head, I don't think that that's impossible.
I see what you're saying.
Does that make more sense?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I think it's definitely possible, dude. I think it's definitely possible. That's one thing I was thinking about. Like, going back to like, okay, like what are some of the other factors that allowed this energy, right? Allowed us to tap into this energy.
Yeah.
And I feel like one of them, because just like the Florida trip, I think one of the factors is just having a plan.
Yes.
Right? Like almost kind of just having an itinerary, which seems so insignificant, but I don't know why. I felt like that was a big thing, because it's
a driver.
It's a driver, and it gives you something to
look forward
to like plan for, because otherwise you just end up sitting there all day.
Purposeless.
Yes, dude.
We need that's what I'm saying, mission. Like,
yes.
You're talking about the itinerary, but like it's not an itinerary in a way. It's like, oh, I have to do this.
No.
It's like a breadth of opportunity and possibility, and we were at length, at freedom to choose what we wanted to do.
Right.
And so there was structure there, but there's freedom there too.
Yes. It's like the perfect balance.
Yes, it's the perfect balance. Knowing that we could go back to the room and chill, but I don't want to miss out on this opportunity.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm a little tired right now, but I don't want to miss out on what's going on.
Yes.
And I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think having events planned, I mean, I've never really heard of a coffee shop putting on those types of like community events. They'll maybe have vendors, like people outside, or maybe there'll even be someone playing inside sometimes, but it's not like you're not going there to meet other people besides maybe like one person that you already know, or you're already saying, hey, let's meet here. But the idea being like, dude, you want to go to the second floor coffee shop tonight? They're having a quest game or something. Like,
yeah. Yes, bro.
I don't know what it is, but let's just go check it out. And it's the only place that's open past freaking 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And people can walk by and hear people going crazy inside and just pop their head like, what's going on in here?
Yeah.
And like I said, like we were talking about, it does not have to be complicated.
No.
You just have to think a little bit outside the box, have a little bit of resources, a little bit of creativity and grit, some connections maybe. But I agree. I think if you have that mission or you have that goal, or like an itinerary or structure of like, okay, we have this person coming on the podcast this week, so we need to prep for it, or we have this thing tonight, so we got to prep for it. That's the work, right? It may be boring, or it may be not peak enjoyable or whatever, but then you go to the event, or then you have the person on the podcast, and it's like, those are the moments that I felt like we had on the cruise, that was like you winning the belly flop and you guys went to the casino and all these different things happening. That was like, dang, that brought me this aliveness, this authenticity, this genuine feeling of a higher level of consciousness, or higher level of experiencing reality. That
just a higher level of existence. Like yeah, I'm with you on that, dude. Yeah. I think also, so we have, okay, what are the factors we've listed so far?
Being around people that you enjoy being around.
Okay.
Having a mission. /
itinerary. Sure.
There was one more that I said.
I thought there was.
Being around people you enjoy, and then I think it's just kind of like doing something fun.
Yeah.
It's like having something fun to do.
I think a part of that too was just not being afraid to put yourself out there.
Be silly. It's like that silly, goofy type feeling where you have that radical I don't care what you think of me that unlocks it for other people.
Yes, bro.
They're like, oh shoot, these people do not care. Like, they're not trying to be a brand. They're not trying to be this put together organization. They're not trying to be this surface level thing. They're not afraid to say the wrong thing. They're just being genuine and authentic.
Yeah.
I want that.
Yeah. Truthfully, I feel like I've been missing these factors in my daily life, especially recently. Like the whole belly flop thing, dude. Like that was, I don't know, just putting myself out there like that. That was something I hadn't done in a long time, I felt like. And I just felt like it started this whole, like a chain of momentum that, like, especially, like, definitely carried me throughout the whole trip, right? And I guess I'm just trying to brainstorm and think of ways that I can do that, even on a small scale. Like, how can I do something to start this positive momentum? Whether it's, I don't know, I mean, it could be anything. It could be anything.
It could be anything. Yeah.
But truthfully, I don't feel like I've been doing that lately. I feel like I don't know what I feel like. I just know it wasn't that. It just wasn't that.
Well, think about the rooms that we had in the original second floor experience. It was like late night devos, or what do we call it? With we had Oreos with Juan.
Oh, Midnight Proverbs.
Midnight Proverbs.
Yeah.
We had like the language teaching and freaking the TV lounge. We had Jensen's movie playing. We had the video game room.
Yeah, Sea of Thieves.
We had Sea of Thieves, right? We had
the Rave, right?
We had the Rave. We had the Bachelor
show.
Bachelor show, and then we had like the final one where it was like you played your guitar and we were like hyping everybody up, right? Those were the highlight events of the hall.
Yeah.
And that's why we used those as the second floor experience, because it was those things that we did that fostered that community. On top of, we can't recreate necessarily like the 2 a.m. conversations or the times that we had eating out. Those all contributed. Those are like extra little things that we did. Same thing as we went to dinner. We went to the Windjammer. We came back to the room together and would watch TV for a little bit or talk on the walkie-talkies in between rooms. Like, it's like filler stuff, right?
Yeah.
But the main events are the ones that we showed in the first second floor experience, right? And so I just don't think we have any main events anymore in our regular lives. We just don't have, and the time
I'm with you, dude.
Where we do go to stuff that other people put on, it just like doesn't even come close to that. And I think that's maybe a small part of our frustration with the church, is that it has to put on this persona of like, I am this certain way, perceive me this certain way, do this certain way, and it almost like chains us up in a way. We're like, oh, you can't get out of your shell, or oh, you can't do this, or oh, you can't be like that. And even, you guys went to that place that you guys played Magic at, right? Like that restaurant, that tavern place. Nathan was like, yeah, it just wasn't that great.
Yeah.
Or, there's been other times where we've gone to stuff.
Yeah.
And we're just like, kind of leave with a bad taste in our mouth of like, oh. I even told my sister, I was telling my sister about this trip, and I was like, Grace, honestly, I feel like we can put on better events. Like, we know how to put on better events now than a lot of stuff that we're going to. And it's not like we think we can do, or we're like better than anybody. It's just that we're starting to unlock these factors, and we're starting to figure out, okay, what does it look like to host stuff like this and do stuff like this in a way. But that's my argument, is that we just don't have those super, super entertaining, fun main events right now in our lives.
Yeah, there's no mission.
Yeah. It's just like we're just kind of existing. We're just kind of like going along. The only times that I felt it are like when we've had a really cool episode of the podcast.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, dang, like this was really powerful. Or we'll have an especially fun like Friday night or something. But sometimes those are just like few and far between. And it's just like, I don't know. There's something about it that just... It's difficult because there's nothing quite like it in the quote unquote normal world. We're having to literally pioneer this crazy idea and find resources and brainstorm and try and fail at things that don't work to get to a point, like start from scratch basically without all the guys here. And we don't have any base of an audience. We don't have any base of like, at Sagu, we had people that knew us. We had events going on. We had stuff at the dorm that we were doing. We were all going to eat together. And so it was like that environment was created in a way that we could, it almost accelerated the process.
Yeah.
And I think it's almost counterintuitive what we're doing now, because everyone has jobs and everyone has this, and we can only get together once a week or da 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 da. And so you have to claw more. You have to fight more to be more intentional about creating those times together.
Very true. Yeah, I feel like we've been kind of dropping the ball on that, dude.
We have, man. We have.
Yeah, because we've had, I mean, you know, us two, Nathan, Ryan, and Sam, like our whole group here, we all have, me and Nathan were kind of talking about this Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday night. How we have this like overarching goal. We have like a mission.
Yes.
Right? Like this ultimate mission.
Yes.
But I don't know, dude. It just doesn't feel like we're. And okay, let me rewind. I didn't even realize this, but it wasn't until after the cruise that I realized, dang, we're not even really executing this as well as I like thought we were. Maybe, I don't know.
You mean like based on the crazy high level of fun and that existence that we felt on the cruise?
Yeah.
Coming back here, it gave us kind of like a contrast. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And you know, people would say, "Oh, it's just because it's a cruise. It's just because you're away having fun, or whatever." Sure. Right? But which there is some truth to that. But I just refuse to accept that you can't recreate that energy.
Me too.
I refuse to accept that. Yeah.
I do too. I refuse to accept
it. So I really feel like the cruise kind of like shook me up a bit, dude. It kind of shook me up.
Put you in the blender.
Yeah. 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 Kind of woke me up a little bit.
That's what you need sometimes. Just get out of your old environment and experience stuff. That's why travel is so
Absolutely,
cool.
Dude. Yeah. Yeah, bro. So I've been.
Wheels been turning?
Wheels are turning, dude.
Oh shoot!
Wheels are turning.
Shoot.
I don't know. I like Nathan feels it too. Cause we gotta do something, dude. We gotta do something.
I mean, truly, when you come back from a trip, you do have like residual momentum, and you can kind of like let that die out, or you can kind of ride the wave.
Yeah.
A little bit and see if you can capitalize on that freshness of that momentum.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, that with the cruise, I mean, you're saying how like we had these things, right, that kind of sparked the energy. Mm-hmm. Then there are also other things that just added to it that were unexpected.
Yes.
But I feel like oftentimes those things, those like additives, right? Those extras, the icing on the cake, don't happen until, sometimes those things don't happen until you initiate the momentum.
Exactly.
And
they don't.
And that's a big thing I feel like we're missing, dude, is that because those like the icing on the cakes, like those moments, they're like boosters that just push you even further.
Yeah.
Like they just drive you even further. And gosh, like I don't know. We just gotta figure out something like that. That's what like my mind has just been working through, especially today. Like, okay, what are things that we can do to just get some momentum going, dude? Just get the ball rolling.
So true. So freaking true, dude. Gosh.
I know for me personally, I've been kind of secluding myself from a lot of things. But I think I'm kind of getting to the point where maybe I've done it a little bit too much. Like Like I think I'm feeling ready just to start getting out there again. Just like, but
like to do what?
I don't know. But something different, like something that's gonna challenge us. Like a Crazy Quest game show, or like it doesn't have to be something that's, you know, in like super risky or like
no.
Or yeah, that,
I don't think so.
Yeah, that can like, I don't know,
dude. You know what we need, bro? We need like a new SF. And let me tell you what I mean by that. When you walked into that stadium for Crazy Quest arena, everyone was just kind of like sitting by random people, right? Not really sure what to expect. We knew a little bit because of what Ryan had said. The moment that Cruz and Susan came out and was like, all right, guys, this is what this game is about. We're splitting you into teams, and you guys are going to compete for a freaking keychain. Like, we didn't hear anything except compete.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, whoever does this the best, that's who's going to win. And it was like, oh, you felt the energy, like, it's on. And then to look up like midway through the game and realize these people who had just sat next to each other that were total strangers, now we're doing things that they never would thought they would do.
Yeah.
And like these crazy little quests just somehow united people from all walks of life, all ages, all political beliefs and religious beliefs. And like that's truly the power of a game.
Yeah, I agree, dude.
Truly.
I agree.
And those moments we had playing SF was like very similar to that.
Dude.
It just puts you in that sphere of fun. And yeah, I mean I got some things in my head too, but like it does not have to be this thing where we have to raise like $1 million and go off and do this stuff.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. And it doesn't have to start off with 100 people.
No,
it can just be
10 or 15.
Yeah, the core group of people that we know, and then they're like, dude, you've got to come here on Tuesday night. Like, you got to come to the next thing. It is so
bro.
Like, you don't understand. You cannot miss it. Whatever you have doesn't matter. Take it off the calendar. You're coming with me,
dude. Yes, bro. That's what I've been missing, dude.
Yeah.
Truthfully, that's what I miss about SF a lot. Is that
yes, dude.
That was the energy. That was like that kind of energy. It was like, dude, I can't even explain this game to you, but you have to be there.
You have to be there, dude.
Have to be there.
And because this is what it does, is it gives you the gift of being a kid again for a few minutes. You don't have to worry about your responsibilities. You don't have to worry about this or that. Like, it's truly an escape. But unlike social media, it's not an unhealthy escape.
Yes, dude.
It's a healthy escape. And you end up building community in the process.
Yes, it's a healthy escape because... God dang it, bro.
Here, there you go.
It's a healthy escape. Where's I going with that? Because like when you escape to social media, you are putting on a front. Most of the time, like if you're posting, right?
Yes.
You're putting this version of yourself out there that's probably not always like fully authentic.
Right.
Or if you escape just to like consume, yeah, then I mean that doesn't get you anywhere either. No. So you're just wasting time. But when you escape like that, where like you said, when you feel like a kid again, there's something to that because I was thinking about that. All these noises. Let me refocus. When you escape to being a kid again, it's almost like you are becoming your true self. Right?
Dang.
Like, and I was thinking about that today. Right, like I was thinking about that idea of, gosh, like why was it on the cruise that I felt my fullest self, right? And why is it that there's this whole idea, right, that as you get older, right, you kind of have to like figure out yourself. Mm-hmm. You gotta like find yourself in this crazy life, right?
Yeah.
Especially as a young adult. Like that's what people are trying to do. Mm-hmm. Just figure themselves out. But I was thinking about, I might be completely wrong on this, but what if, in a sense, you already know who you are, what you are, right? But you forget. Like you forget along the way of life. Like what if all this crap that life just like rains down on you, that like you just forget who you are. Dude. So it's really just a matter of like rediscovering who you are, right? That's why it's like you feel like a kid again. It's because when you're a kid, you're you. Like there's no hiding. Well, like unless you have like a tragic upbringing, right? Like that's always terrible. But
yeah,
in most cases, like as a kid, like you're just you. Then life gets in the way, and you start putting on this. You start wearing this shell, this like cover to be accepted, to fit in, to pay bills. Like you just lose yourself.
Yeah.
Through all this, like all these filters. And then you feel like then you feel like you don't even know who you are anymore. You have to like I have to go figure myself out. Like I don't know who I am.
To be unburdened by the world.
Dude.
Just for a short time.
And that's what those games or like those experiences offer. And that's why it feels so amazing, dude. Like,
you hit on the head with that. Seriously. To remember who you are. And I think that's one of the greatest gifts you can give someone that's what Second Floor did for me, dude.
Yeah.
It helped me remember who I am, but it helped me figure it out too. Because some people need to figure it out or like remember, right? But sometimes they're like so far into a different version that they've created that they have to like they just have to backtrack.
Yeah.
And I just remember when I first got on Second Floor, I just had this version of myself that I was like, I want to be seen as cool, or I want to be, this version of myself. And it was like, well, oh shoot, dude, like little by little, I kind of felt like I was actually did not have to be that. And it was because of this environment that we're talking about with Second Floor and the guys that were there. That was a big part, right? But that gave me the freedom and it was like the safety type feeling of, wow, okay, these could be my people.
Yeah.
Or wait, like I could be myself. And I don't know if we're really describing it super well, but
there's just something that unlocks. There's something that unlocks that allows you to be 100% you. And that sounds so cheesy, dude. That sounds so cheesy, but it's so true, dude. That's how I felt on the floor, especially like Reed helps. Okay, wait. Do you want to switch batteries? Okay. That's what I was saying. I was saying that that was what Reed was so good at.
Yes.
Like being his roommate and everything is that's the crazy thing about Reed is that he comes across as like very quiet and very just unsocial sometimes. But then when you get to know him, I mean, he literally made me feel like I was around my brothers, like back home. Like that's how he made me feel. Just the way that he jokes around and like and like he like messes with you and everything. Like he truly would make me feel, and he would make me mad sometimes. Like he would actually piss me off, dude. Like, but it's like a brother.
Yeah.
And just that alone, like just his impact on my life just made me feel like I could be myself. Wow. Like like I was just little Zach hanging out with my brothers again, you know? Like that sounds so dumb. That sounds so like corny, but
yeah.
But dude, if you want to talk about like the regrets of the dying, I think that's something that, I mean, how often do people go through life living without that connection? I would regret that, dude.
Me too, man. That would freaking suck.
So yeah, I don't know, like what we can do. Yeah, maybe some kind of game, or we need another SF or something.
We need a new like.
We need something that'll bring people together, and something that offers some kind of mission. Like purpose.
Yes.
Something just to initiate that positive momentum.
Even like that little finger game we were playing with those girls that we met.
Yeah.
And if you lost, you had to do a dare that the winner came up with.
Yeah.
That is like such a micro example of this concept. And SF had the same thing, right? You had the loser had to do a dare.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like there's just commonalities. I think we're pointing out commonalities with stuff that we know works to unlock this potential energy of being yourself, discovering your true self, or reigniting your childlike wonder that you had. And I think our world, you want to talk about a need? I think there's a desperate need in our world for that. And I think it's like it's after those moments where you have games like that and you have that adrenaline high and that fun, and then everyone just kind of like ha ha ha, like laughs it off, and then you kind of go into the next phase of the night, and it's like you got the wiggles out, and then people drop into, this is what I'm really dealing with right now.
Yeah. And that's that campfire effect.
Dude, it's the campfire effect. And then so you have it on both sides where the game kind of breaks down the walls. And it shows people that they're in a safe environment and a fun environment. And it gets them feeling really good. And then the campfire effect is kind of helps to build you back up, so that you kind of leave feeling filled up, but in a good way. Yeah. Instead of social media, it's kind of almost like the reverse effect, where it feels like it's like sucks it out of me. Yeah. And I feel like more like a zombie than anything. Yeah. And so.
Which that's another factor. Like on the cruise, we had zero social media.
Zero.
So, yeah. Which probably had a significant effect.
Yeah, I mean, I know this is not super popular, but I think Kill Tony has it where they have to put their phones up, right? So like maybe having a box at the front door where it's like, hey, tonight's a no phone zone, right?
Yeah. Or those things are so cheesy, but I mean,
or
it might be necessary, dude.
I know, and it's like, or if you absolutely have to check your phone, like you have to go outside.
Yeah.
You have to go outside if you have an emergency, or you're waiting on a call or whatever. Fine, like intermittently come check, but you're gonna come back to a place where you can't just easily get on your phone and scroll.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the cop out. Even when I'm around a group of people, as hard as I try, sometimes I'm like, it's too uncomfortable, or da da da. And so you just get on your phone.
Yeah. And it's a vibe killer, dude. It's a vibe killer.
It's the worst. It's a psyop, dude. freaking trying to steal our vibes.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's why I think a coffee shop is so cool. Because the most popular social lubricant right now is alcohol.
Yeah.
But we don't really want to get people drunk, right? And so I feel like coffee is like the second best social lubricant, because it gets you hyped, like it gets you feeling good, but you don't leave. It doesn't have all the negative effects of alcohol, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I feel like having an event with coffee is super cool, because people can come in, maybe they pay like a $5 door, it's like $5 to come in.
Sure.
And that covers coffee, maybe we say like it's unlimited coffee or whatever, and most people are only going to get one, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. And then they come in, they got to put their phones up, and then you have people just kind of mingling around while they're drinking their coffee, and then you have like an MC get up, say, okay, everybody, we're about to start the game, split into teams, you do the game, and maybe there's like a dare or something that the team that loses has to do, or there's got to be some kind of consequence, there's got to be something on the table, right? That's what makes it so like hype, right? You're like, I don't want to have to do this dare or whatever. And like, how funny would it be? How hilarious would it be, dude, if we had a game and the losing team, it was like, you remember the thing that you guys did to Ryan where he had to like get on all fours whenever you said?
Yes.
Okay, like, what if one of the dares is, okay, tomorrow at work, you have to film yourself doing this, and then they have to like show that they did the dare that they lost on.
Yeah.
Just something like that connects everybody.
Yes.
In the way that a game does. And then after the game's over, you just chill. You just hang out, drink some more coffee or drink some water or whatever, like, and you just talk, and then people can leave when they want.
Yeah.
I don't see, like, that is such a simple concept. There's nothing novel about that. I think it would be extremely powerful.
I agree, dude. I agree. Because it's those silly things that push people to get out of their comfort zone.
Yes.
Yeah. Like we experienced at the cruise.
Yeah. And for us, maybe it wasn't like coffee, but it was like, okay, now let's go get pizza. Or
yeah.
There was always like those similar elements to it.
Yes. You're so right, dude. Yeah, you have like the crazy game, the crazy activity, the dares, the thing that pushes you to break that shell. And then afterwards there's it's like a wave, and like that passes, and then the campfire effect comes in, and it's like mellow, and then you just start dropping stuff, dude, just unloading. And you really get to like figure out who someone is, and like really understand someone. Someone really opens up and says, yeah, dude, I've been struggling with this lately, or dude, I don't know what I believe about this. Like,
and then before you know it, 2 hours have gone by.
Yeah. Of
just people talking. And people like, oh my gosh, I got work tomorrow. I gotta go.
Yeah. And you leave feeling amazing. And then what happens is, as that happens, then they start to happen more naturally.
Yes.
Like as the relationship grows, then it's like, then you have, I feel like I have access to that whenever, right? It's like you to Nathan to whatever, like, because we've built those friendships, those relationships through that like process or whatever. It's almost like we get good at it.
Yeah. Yes. Like, we were able to go on the cruise. I have not seen Ryan in like 6 months. Yeah. We were able to go on the cruise, and it was like picked up right where we left off.
Exactly.
It's as if we had never been apart.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
But that was because, you guys spent longer with him than I did, but spent not even a year, like three-quarters of a year, but crammed in so much stuff that it was just a blast, man. Just a blast.
Yeah. And this was something I was gonna say before. That kind of slipped my mind, but I think another reason why this is so significant, because like we talked about being your true self, right? Like living in that level, like that state of existence, like a kid, being your true self, whatever. I think that the reason that is important, like not just besides like the emotional satisfaction that it brings, right? Mm-hmm. And like fulfillment. I think that when you were operating on that like plane of existence, I think it seems like to me that is when how do I put this? That is when you start to, I want to say like reach your potential, or make your dreams come true, right? Or like, okay, this is super dumb. This is super dumb, but I for me, I'm single, right? Like I would like to have a girlfriend, like in the near future or whenever, right? But I'm not,
You're not pressed.
I'm not pressed. I'm not like girl crazy or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I don't know why. But I felt like the way that I felt on the cruise, right? Like being my true self, whatever. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, I feel like I'm not gonna find a girl that I can like be with, or like the one, whatever, until I can operate, until I can like be that. I don't feel like I can be that person all the time right now.
Yes.
I feel like I have to figure that out.
Right.
Because then when I find someone, like I'm not being my true self.
Yes.
And that's a problem.
Yes.
So but then even also like something like a job, right? Like something like your dream job or whatever. Maybe you don't even know what that is. But how can you even find that? Or how can you attain, like, can you attain it if you're not like being your true self? Does that make sense?
Yes, 100%. It's like, it's kind of like the Be Do Have, I think.
Yes, dude. Like that this whole like manifestation thing, whatever, it's all like, you can bluff it up, like this whole new age thing, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that when you're operating at that level, that's when you start to see like manifestation. That's when like that's the positive momentum. That's like when those things just start all of a sudden going your way, because
I totally agree, dude.
Like I don't know how to describe that. I don't know what that is, but there's something to that.
It frees you up in a way where you don't necessarily like accept your limitations anymore.
Yeah.
Where you're like, okay, you mentioned, I realized what's possible on a cruise.
Yes.
Right. So you got outside of your limited, what you didn't even mostly realize seems like was happening was you were accepting this glass ceiling, and then the cruise you broke through it. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know I could live up here. Holy crap. And that's what that experience gives to people. And that's what creates positive momentum in their life. Of like, you know what, I don't know what it was, but I had a great night last night. You know what, I'm gonna go to the gym.
Yeah.
I went to the gym. You know what, I'm gonna eat well tonight. You know what, I ate really well tonight. I'm gonna go to sleep at a good time. And then it just all of a sudden, the next thing you know, now my boss really noticed that my productivity has increased at work.
Yeah.
Wow, I just got this great promotion. Where did that came out of nowhere? No, it didn't. It was a a positive momentum of circumstantial things that happen because you're able to unlock that energy in yourself.
Yeah.
That led to the things that you've been wanting to happen, but you just couldn't connect the dots to.
Yes, dude.
And that is hard to describe.
It is.
It's hard to put into words.
It is hard to put into words. I feel like you did a pretty good job right there. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I just felt that. I felt that, like, something as silly as, like, finding a girlfriend, right? Or whatever. Because you know me. Like, I don't mind sharing this on camera or whatever, but, like, I'm single, right? I'm like I said, like, I'm not pressed. I'm not in a rush.
Yeah.
I'm not in a rush to, like,
You're not.
go out and date all these girls, whatever. And sometimes there's, like, a pressure to do that for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But I don't want to. I would hate to rush into, like, a relationship that's not right, just for the sake of doing it because of this pressure or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Just so that I can be married or just so I can have a person, like.
Yeah.
But I just felt that, like, I felt that if I can like teach myself how to live just in that, like, positive energy, then even something like that, like something like the right person will just come along and I'll be ready for it. And that's like the whole like the law of attraction.
Yes.
Right? Like, it's that whole thing. But I think that goes into, I think that affects so many more things than even just a relationship. I think it, like you said, plays into, like, a job promotion or maybe a new job entirely or a friendship. Anything, really. So.
Yeah. And that's one thing I've learned from BNI. Like, BNI has really showed me what can happen from just a one-to-one with someone.
Yeah.
Like, it was just a one-to-one with this guy, like a one-on-one meeting with this guy at a coffee shop, and he later introduced me to this other guy named John who had had multiple coffee shops out in California, and I found myself on a plane out to California, somewhere I had never been before, by myself, in the middle of the week, meeting this random dude. And he was giving me a full tour of his entire coffee shop business, A to Z, numbers, espresso.
Yeah, like, really everything. He showed you, like,
dude, he showed me behind the curtain of, like, how we run things. I took a freaking nap on his couch, dude.
That's actually wild. Like, that's wild. Yeah.
You can't tell me, like, that came from just having one coffee with this guy, with his friend that he hadn't even been in contact with for a while.
Yeah.
What? And so that's the kind of butterfly effect that can happen with these types of things.
Yeah.
But it's hard to quantify. You can't, like, put that on a flyer and be like, come here and your dreams will come true, right? Like,
yes,
that's what's difficult, I think.
Very true.
There's got to be a pull, right? There's got to be something that gets people out of that type mentality, or I don't want to go, or I don't want to leave. Like, there's got to be something, and typically the best thing is for someone to bring them. Like, it's typically someone that's saying, "Hey, you need to come with me to this. It's so much fun."
Yeah.
I can't even describe it to you. Like, it's kind of like a game show, but not really. There's, like, coffee. Just, I don't know. Just come with me. It has to kind of be that type of marketing, I feel like.
Yeah.
It just has to be organic.
Okay, so this is interesting because I know we talk about this a lot, so I like almost feel bad bringing it up. But I'm curious. I just kind of like want to talk through this because I'm literally just now like this just hitting me, right?
Okay.
I get why. I understand this whole incentive to like invite people to church. Because it's like an event, right? Yes. It's like you gotta come experience this, right?
Dang, that's so true.
So like we've obviously expressed how like our problems with that on this podcast many times. So like, what's the difference? What is the difference? And like, what's the problem? Are we the problem? Are they the problem? Like, is it something in the middle? You know?
Okay, maybe. What would be our ultimate goal with this event idea? Just would it not be to just connect people together? Create community.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Right? Do we have any other ulterior motive besides that? Like, yeah, we want them to come to our coffee shop. Yeah, we want them to listen to the podcast, but I mean,
I feel like the only ulterior motive would be truthfully money, right? Like because we would need money to operate.
Right. Yeah, we would need.
So that's just like a church.
Right.
I sound like a pastor right now.
I know.
But I think there's a further difference. Is that we're offering an actual service. Like it's not this like I don't know. Like just give me your money, you know?
Like it's you should be here. Like you should be at church, so come.
No, yeah. And it's more like I'm I'm literally, you're paying for this coffee. Like you're not just donating money.
Gotcha.
Like, so we're doing a service to make, almost like tent making, like Paul, right? Like we're doing a service for our income. And it's not like like you have to give this or you're sinning. I feel like that's a pretty key difference.
I agree. I think, I think it is a little nuanced. And I think there's a lot of differences, but I think it is nuanced in a lot of ways. I just don't think that there's a difference there that I'm just not able to describe. Like there's not this pressure to be a salesperson to bring someone.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I think you would really enjoy this. I'm not trying to bring you because I feel like I have to. I feel like you would really enjoy this, and like I'm not gonna pull a bait and switch on you type deal. Right?
Yeah.
It's just not intrusive, right? It's completely different, as in we're not a church. We're not an organized church.
Yeah.
Right? So in that sense, it's completely different because we're not bringing them here to tell them about Jesus. That's not our goal. Our goal is just to set the environment. But a church service is very much their goal to take them through a certain order of service, right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's a huge difference too. But like if it comes up organically, naturally, genuinely, yeah, we'll talk about it for sure. Just like we'll talk about anything else.
Yeah.
It's a place where you can talk about that, but there's just so many more stereotypes. There's so many more, what do you call it? Like there's just, you don't bring certain stuff up in church, right? Like traditionally, you just don't.
Mm-hmm.
Don't talk about it. It's very proper in a lot of senses. Yeah. And so we're trying to kind of remove all of that and say, just like Ryan said, just come as you are. Just come hang out with us. Pay for coffee. You're going to get coffee. And we're going to provide entertainment.
Kind of like removing the stigma
yeah.
that church brings for a lot of people.
Well, yeah, and we're not doing anything intrinsically churchy at all.
Yeah, right.
Like we're not singing, we're not like worshiping, we're not going to be preaching a message, we're not going to, like it would be really, really similar if we brought them here, gave them coffee, and then we're like, hey, I have a little message for you before we do the game.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing where it's like, oh, dude, you didn't really tell me what's going on here.
Yeah.
To me, that's the distinction.
Yeah.
But that is a great point, to be honest.
I think that's true though. It's almost like you said, like having the itinerary, right? Like we have like this plan in motion, like a UFC event or like some kind of game, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's also like the freedom to, like, maybe we have other events going on, but there's like freedom in that.
Yeah,
that
you can opt out.
Yes, you can opt out and not feel guilty.
And not feel guilty.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, really that was kind of like SF in a way where, I mean, yeah, like we know it's a good time. So we invite you to come, but if you don't, it's like, all right. There were dudes on the second floor that didn't play that game with us. Like,
yeah.
And
there were nights I was too tired.
You know? Yeah, for sure.
Couldn't do it, whatever.
Yeah. But even the people on, like the guys that weren't like as involved with our group, we didn't treat them as like less than, or we didn't treat them as like they're wrong.
No, yeah.
Right? Like we just let them, like,
Not at all.
Yeah, they're just, I don't know, doing whatever they want to do.
Yeah. Versus like, oh, I can't believe I've been here in a while, or I
can't
believe I haven't been to the game in a while.
Yeah.
Or
You're not a true second floor.
Yes,
or like,
dude.
Yeah. I don't know. Interesting
stuff.
Yeah, we got some brainstorming to do, bro.
We do.
We got some brainstorming.
Well, you want to end it there?
Yeah.
All right.
We didn't even have an intro.
No, we didn't.
We just got into it.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. This has been our recap cruise / brainstorming.
Yeah.
/ second floor extravaganza.
That's right. We didn't even talk before. There was no like pre-podcast.
No pre-show, dude.
Yeah, no pre-show. We
went in raw.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you on the next episode. Second Floor Experience. Peace.
I want to talk to you. Not now. Later. No, now.